Hey, everybody, welcome to Open Line Friday. We do this every Friday, or every other Friday, I would say, with some great topics on here. I want to remind you that this is a recorded session, and Open Line Friday is a chance for us to talk about ePlan and what we have to offer and some different topics every time we do it with some great experts. The experts that we have on every week, they most of the time it'll be someone from our account management side that are experts in everything. And then we'll have our specialized guest as well. So I want to remind you that you can leave questions in the chat. Also, if at any time you want to raise your hand and you have questions, we'd love to talk about those as well. Let me introduce you to our guest this week, all the way from Germany, which, what time is it over there, Thilo?
It's 7 p.m.
So your weekend has already started.
We will start with you, yes.
Well, thank you so much, Thilo Pillekamp. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. He is the head of product management, the environment and integrations, responsible for ePlan's cloud working environment and integration topics. And tell us a little bit, like, how long have you been with ePlan?
I'm not that long with ePlan. I started in January 2020, so really close before the pandemic started. And yeah, since then I've been through two different departments. I started as a business owner, which is similar to a product manager. I went through different departments, and then I landed in the department which we are now in, so in the environment and integration team, which is basically the digital backbone for our cloud environment. And there I'm since half a year the group leader for the people in my team.
Well, here's what ePlan does a really good job of, is that we identify the best in the business and then we poach them away from other places. And I think that's what happened with you, that we saw that we had someone that could really be an integral part of the team and brought you over. And now for Ozlem, it's a little bit different story. Ozlem, I want to say your last name right. Is it Biber or is it
It's
Biber?
Biber.
Okay. Ozlem, she's here in the U.S. Where are you located in the U.S.?
I am currently located in our corporate office in Schaumburg, one of the northwest suburbs of Chicago.
Okay, so Ozlem has been with us for 20 years. So they identified you as someone that was a key member of this team long ago. And this is evidence to me and anyone, because I just started in February of this year, evidence to me and anyone else that comes to work for ePlan that this company is a great one, because you've been here with us for a little while now. In fact, you just celebrated that 20 years recently.
Oh,
we did. Yeah. Some real, thank you.
So Ozlem, I expect whenever I reach 20 years that you throw me a party as well. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, it'll be the best party ever.
I love parties. We got one coming up with
right?
Automation Fair for Rockwell Automation coming up.
Yes.
So that's gonna be a pretty big one. Unfortunately, Thilo, you're not gonna be in for that, but that's okay. We'll clink some glasses whenever we're celebrating for you. Okay.
Of course, yeah. Maybe Tobias will join you at the trade fair, so you will meet him maybe.
Yeah, that would be great. I actually look forward to that. I talked to him offline a few weeks ago, and I said I would really, really love it if he was able to come in and to be able to meet with him, because he's been awesome. But let's talk about our topic for this week. And we talk about cloud all the time. We talk about collaboration. We've been managing or been talking about eMANAGE a lot. So let's kind of get into what we mean when we talk about that, because there's so many things. Collaboration. Yeah. What is collaboration? What does that mean to someone that's looking at ePlan to be a partner? So, Thilo, I'll let you kick off this part of the conversation. Is cloud collaboration, why is that important, and what does it actually mean to a client?
Yeah, it sounds like a simple question. So when we started with the business plan, I don't know, in the early 2020s, we or I looked it up, the word collaboration, and I found at Google over 500 million entries or results. And yeah, I was walking this year over the Hanover Fair, and everyone, you see everywhere the buzzwords cloud, collaboration, IoT, Industry 4.0, and things like that. But everyone has a different understanding of what does it mean. And I think this question is good to kick it off, to have the same understanding of what does collaboration mean. And for me, collaboration is, of course, communication and also exchanging information. It could be yeah, just by talking or sending data, exchanging data. But in the business terms, it's more like we have a defined business outcome that we want to have, so a target, and we both collaborated on it and exchanging data to reach this goal, and this in the most efficient way. So basically, it's between people, systems, and machines that are collaborating to get the expected business outcome.
And Ozlem, you've seen that with your clients where you're able to bring them in and mention this word collaboration and really kind of see it through with them, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, companies, you know, they have to be agile, and there is no just sitting in the office and taking care of the business. They need to be, you know, wherever they need to be, wherever their customers are. So that requires collaboration from internal collaboration from their own team members and other departments, and external collaboration. These could be their customers, their partners, their vendors. So it's all about reaching that common goal and helping each other reach that common goal, right? So we see many examples of that, you know, in all cases, companies of all sizes from all industries.
And when we're collaborating with our software, this isn't just exclusive to the US. You can do this collaboration across the planet, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, with the cloud, you're completely open to any country. So there may be some restrictions if you look at China, but this is a very special topic. But in general, you can collaborate with anyone across the globe. So we are not restricted to a single location anymore. Yeah, you're able to share the data across the globe. Yeah.
Have you seen that, Ozlem, with any of your clients? I don't know if any of your clients have parts of the company that are in other countries than ours, and you don't have to name names, of course, but do you have some of your clients that work collaboratively that are across continents?
Absolutely. Being a global solution and actually being world's first PC-based electrical design system. So EPLAN is, you know, we're in 50 countries around the world. So we have customers in 50 countries around the world. And world is getting flatter, right? So companies do business in other, you know, companies with other countries. They form joint ventures. They open up subsidiaries. So it's not just me, but I would say that every single one of my fellow account managers, we do have customers who work, who do have, you know, global facilities, and you know, headquarter might be here in the United States or in another country, and they might have engineering offices, they might have manufacturing facilities in all over the world. So collaboration is definitely a top of mind topic, and these companies do collaborate in many ways. They might have joint product launches. They might have, you know, engineering might be done in one location and manufacturing can be done in multiple other locations. And then of course they might have international customers, regional customers, national customers. So, you know, we see it all over.
Yeah. Absolutely agree.
I thought we were about to get into a conversation if the world was flat.
Maybe
do we want to broach that subject, or we just leave it be?
Yeah, maybe this is the right time when we talk about the flat earth to open my beer. So I brought a beer today because you said it's like an open Friday. It's more like a relaxed talking to each other. And yeah, I brought a special beer here. Maybe it's not the right purpose because this one was given to those who were going to their executors before they were executed. They got this last beer as their last supper. So I hope that this is not my last supper, but I'm happy to be here. And I think I will open it now. So
tell me, okay, this is the discussion I have whenever I talk to Germany a lot, because I'm a beer guy. Ozlem, do you like wine or do you like beer? Or
I prefer wine, but whenever I'm in Germany and for company events or just personal vacation, absolutely I will drink beer. Peer pressure kicks in, and you mentioned that I've been with ePLAN for 20 years. So in my very early years, when I first visited our corporate office, global corporate office in Monheim, Germany, I was given the 101 on the Kölsch beer and the alt beer. So I know the difference. I'm safe.
It's funny.
Kölsch beer. So you know the difference then.
I know the difference. I know what to order where.
Okay,
so it's funny because I didn't realize, I'm kind of, I guess, before working for ePLAN, I was living within a box in just the US. I've always loved Kölsch beer. It's my favorite. I didn't realize that Mannheim was right in between Dusseldorf and Cologne. Yeah. And there were very distinct places that, you have, I believe it's Dusseldorf where it's the alt beer, right?
Right, yeah.
And then you have Cologne, that's the Kölsch beer. I prefer, but I've never had alt beer. So Johannes, that used to work here in the US, he just went back to Germany, as a matter of fact. He's from Dusseldorf, and he said, no, whenever you come to Germany, you have to try the alt beer. And I said, I am down for whatever. You just take me where we have to go, because I love culture. I love experiencing that. I love history. And so for me to go and to check it out, I'm very happy that you're having a Kölsch right now. And kind of kicking myself that I didn't do that. But also, it's noon over here. It's not 7 o'clock.
Yeah. I thought it was
appropriated. Water is all we can have.
Yeah, 7 p.m. is a good time to start with a beer. So I think
it's a little bit more frowned upon whenever I'm in the corporate office at noon, and they're thinking, why does he get to do this and we don't?
Yeah, the good thing if you work between Düsseldorf and Köln or Cologne, you don't have to decide what do you want to drink for lunch or something like that, because in every restaurant you go, you know that you are between the thin line between Düsseldorf and Cologne, so you get Kölsch or alt beer wherever you go, so you don't have to suffer if you want to drink alt or Kölsch beer.
It sounds like heaven to me. I mean, you can get both. I'm a beer guy. What can I say? So let's. I hate to get away from beer talk. I really do, but I know that we have to talk about more of the topic at hand. And we offer some free services with this cloud collaboration. And so, Thilo, can you kind of take us through these services that are in the cloud that we offer, these applications?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember that ePLAN ever had free applications. So maybe Ozlem,
whenever I say free, I mean there's the free eMANAGE, or whenever you have a license that you can purchase a more package than that, but you have some of the eVIEW free AR.
Yeah,
and those.
Yeah, that's correct. So I think that's a huge step in history of ePLAN, offering such a starting point for collaboration in the cloud. So with eVIEW free and eMANAGE free, you can start right away. The only thing that you have to do is go to the website, register, get a free account. It's completely free. And then you're in the ePLAN community, which is the landing organization. And from there, you can create your own organization. You get a free of charge 10 gigabytes, and you can see the applications right away, and you can start trying out even today. So if you're open to it, you can just start right away trying out these free applications. And I think that's a huge benefit, because you don't need to buy something, because if you buy something, you expect something back. So you get the marketing letters and everything else. But if you can try it out for free and convince yourself that this service is something that brings you on going forward, that's really good, a huge benefit, I think.
Ozlem, have you ever had any of your clients? That's a good selling point for them. You say, "Hey, go and here, I'm going to give you the keys. Go and test drive."
Yeah, absolutely. So of the cloud applications that we have, and Data Portal being the oldest, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we launched Data Portal back in 2016, I want to say. So it's been around for quite a while. And so that's one of the more widely known tools that we have in our cloud environment. However, with the introduction of the eVIEW and then later eMANAGE, these are free tools that are available to our customers from version 2022 and on. And especially eMANAGE being the newer, most recently released tool, I don't think customers customers that we talk to or current accounts, I don't think they know enough about it. So I'm glad we're having this chance to kind of elaborate on their benefits, both eVIEW and eMANAGE. Both have great use cases, both have really value, I think, that they offer. So, I appreciate this opportunity to talk more about them.
So before we get into those benefits of both of those, I got something in the chat, and I got to make sure that this is true. And Thilo, you would probably be the expert on this, but Kruno says Augustiner is above both beers. That is better than Altbier and Kolsch. I've never heard of that. I don't know it. So would you have any input on that?
I assume he's coming from the south of Germany, so there's another culture of beer. But yeah, I can imagine that this is also very good beer.
I've had very few bad beers. I mean, even a bad beer is a beer. That's kind of my thought process behind it. So yeah, let's get into some of the benefits of eVIEW and eMANAGE, since you're the guy that's like headlining all of this and back at HQ, Thilo.
Yeah, so maybe we start talking about eMANAGE, because eMANAGE enables that you can upload the data to the cloud. So it's maybe the cloud enabler for every application that we have in the cloud. So especially for eVIEW, they're using also the eMANAGE file data. And eMANAGE as a cloud collaboration environment. So we see it as an active collaboration environment in the cloud. So where you have ongoing projects which you can upload and share with different people. And the benefit of it is that you can give different access rights to the people, so that you can be very sure that they are doing what they're supposed to do and they are not doing what they're not supposed to do. So that's very crucial in the day, in the day or today. And eVIEW is an additional benefit. So with eVIEW, you are able to start the reviewing process. So it's more like in eMANAGE, you have the original project, and if you want to have an additional engineer working with you on the project, then you share it via eMANAGE. And if you want to review only the project with another person, then you're using eVIEW. And both applications, as Ozlem said, are free available. And with the reviewing process, you can do some red linings or green linings, and then you can make the changes back in P8 and start ongoing with your engineering process. So it's a very cool tool to document your changes in the cloud.
Mm-hmm. And there is a difference between the free version and whatever you're paying for that version.
Oh yeah, we have a licensed version for eMANAGE, and with this you get, of course, additional benefits. You get the availability that you can provide EPLAN projects in older or former EPLAN formats. So, for example, if you have the platform version 2022, you can convert to the version 2.7, and this is a huge benefit for some of our people or customers out there, because they are collaborating with with other customers who are working in a different version than they are working. Maybe the smaller companies are more up to the newer version, and the bigger companies take some time. They have IT departments, they have security checks and everything else. So they are maybe 2 or 3 versions behind. And what we are doing is we support always the latest 4 versions that you can provide to your customer. So that's the first benefit, of course, that comes into my mind. And with the licensed version, you're also able to share master data within your organization. So if you want to standardize your processes with the master data that you get from the EPLAN platform, you can just share it in the cloud via eMANAGE, and then everyone is working on the same, I don't know, templates that you have for your schematics. So everyone is standardized, and that's also a huge benefit for them, because if you are changing something that's maybe only in your version, or maybe the other one has a version that's 3 years old or whatever. So you can always pick the latest version that you provide for your project. And I think that's also a very good benefit to the customer. And beside providing the EPLAN projects, we launched in summer this year also the available or the possibility to exchange project related documents. So if you want to share a PDF file with the requirements from the customer, you can upload them and share them also with your colleagues or an external partner if you want to. And with each license that you're purchasing or subscribing to, you will get another 10 gigabytes. And with this 10 gigabytes, we have an average of about 80 megabytes to 120 megabytes in the project size. And if you calculate it, you have over 100 projects that you can upload additionally with this extra 10 gigabytes. So these are the benefits that we provide with the licensed version of eMANAGE.
Ozlem, do you see that from the client side, where you have some of the bigger clients that it takes them a little bit longer to adapt the newer versions?
Absolutely. We see it all the time, especially with global customers. Let's say customer A has a corporate office in Europe, right? And the licenses are installed in Europe, and the location in the US, the users in the US, access those licenses installed in Europe. So even though the engineering group here, might be all independent in terms of, creating their own projects according to the North American standards that to meet the requirements of the North American customers, and they might not be able to upgrade to the new license, new version until the corporate office is ready. So we do see this all the time. And really, until we came up with eMANAGE, ePLAN has never been backwards compatible. In other words, you couldn't save a project in an older version. So with the introduction of eMANAGE, it's the first time customers are able to do that. So the benefit there is they don't have to install 2 separate versions of the software on their computers, right? And they don't have to, let's say if it's a new customer and then they get an order from the end user, and the deliverable requirements is in an older version, which might have as most of our customers have discovered by now, starting with version 2022, we have a completely overhauled user interface, right? It's modern, it's ribbon-based, and it looks a lot different from what it was in version 2.9 and older versions. So the benefit of eMANAGE is customers don't have to install an older version. They don't have to learn how to use an older version, again, because the user interface is different. They can just save, create the project in the most recent version that they have on their computer, and then save it on an older version to meet their customers and users' deliverable requirements. So I think that's a huge benefit. And but to finish up your original question, yes, definitely we do see customers kind of having to hold off on updating because their international colleagues might not be ready if they're using network licenses. So they all, because the nature of the network licenses everyone needs to update at the same time.
Do they feel like they're missing out?
Oh my God. So absolutely. The simplest example is data portal, right? So it is available with the last, I should say, the online access is available with the last 2 versions. So those customers who are on version 2.8, they cannot access the data portal directly. Those customers who are on version 2.9 will lose the direct online access, I believe, at the end of the year. So, so that's and data portal is a huge benefit. It is another cloud-based tool where there's the repository of manufacturer certified parts data. So absolutely, there's a benefit just from that standpoint, but just access to the latest technology in general, right? We do come out with a major update every year, and there are new features, there are improved features, so they're going to be missing out on all that, time and cost saving benefits.
Yeah.
If they don't update or they wait to update.
Okay.
Thilo, do you use from the corporate side? You probably have seen a bunch of cases of that as well, although you don't work directly with the client side. And this isn't one of the questions I'm throwing you a question that I didn't ask you before, but how are these processes being addressed for that changeover? Because I know that this is something that we think about a lot of times, and that we're able to lend that help to change and to go to a maybe platform 2022 or 2023. Because as much as I see on the website, or as much as I know that we're able to do, because I'm in the marketing side, and I can go in and see these great the insert center changes, or macros, or the new engine for AR. I see these and think, if you're not using these, you have to have some kind of jealousy, So, what do you see on your end from HQ?
Yeah, it's I mean, beside the issues or the processes that the customer have, the internal processes to implement those new versions. I mean, we from the EPLAN side, we support with consulting teams, we support with our support 24/7 everywhere around the globe, and bringing also the customers' projects up to date, helping them to maybe implement only 1 or 2 versions, and bringing the value to them, the benefits, so that they can see and feel it, and then helping them to convert step by step, bringing them to the newer version. And with the subscription, you can choose if you want to stay a year or 3 years in this version, and then you can go up to the next version, because it's always a helping step for them. So as Ozlem said, we have a new interface and things like that. That was a massive change in the software, but now we are on a good run with the new concept and everything like that. And the system is just better working with the new solutions, and it's very good to see that.
Do you feel like standardization is a way to bridge that gap?
I mean, if you look across the world, so we are working in different countries, and if you have different standards also in different countries, and standard is definitely something that we should address and which we are addressing. So if you're talking about the data portal, we addressed it with our EDS, the EPLAN data standard, so that we are standardizing the data that we get from the component manufacturers to bring a good quality, a data standard quality to our customers, so that they can work really, or can focus on their processes, and then they don't have to collect the data, search in the internet for some data and things like that. So yeah, standardization is a heavy topic. It's not an easy one. It takes time, but it's definitely an important topic, yes.
The data portal had to be a big eye opener with your clients, Ozlem, whenever you said, look, this is something new that's available, that's going to make your life so much easier.
Absolutely. Like I said, data portal has been around for several years, and it has grown to over 1.3 million parts, around 400 manufacturers. We do update it every month, and really what makes Data Portal really valuable is that the data is actually owned by the manufacturers themselves. Data is certified by the manufacturers. We just don't, go on the internet and collect data and post it. That's not what we do. And we do provide some guidelines for the manufacturers to follow. So the end result is transparent to our customers. Our customers know exactly what they're getting, and when they're searching for parts. And it's also really our experience is that it can take an engineer anywhere from 20 minutes to 2 hours to create data for one part, right? Some parts are real easy, for cables, you really don't need too much, but maybe for drives you do, because you got multiple connection points. You might need the step file for the Pro panel, 3D representation, and you might need to add mounting definition to it or connection definition to it. So, depending on the part, again, it can take up to 2 hours to create just one part, on your own. So if you multiply that by the number of parts that you can find on our data portal, you're that far ahead right from the get-go. So it is a very, very valuable tool. And we hear that from our customers over and over. In fact, they do get upset when they cannot find a part that they're looking for on the data portal, because they rely on the data portal to be to be this all encompassing, everything is there, and it's not. And but we do have services to help our customers, and either train them to create the parts on their own, or we can create parts for them. So feel free to talk to your account managers to see what your options are. But really, Data Portal is a very, very valuable tool. And I just had a meeting with a customer yesterday, and they told me, well, their incumbent tool is just plain CAD-based, drafting tool. So they were, evaluating different packages. They tried one, and then they said, they just were not happy with the part data that was provided with that package, because it was not user-friendly, it was not complete, it just didn't meet their needs. So now our data portal is really just there for customers to just there's a direct interface to the projects, so they can download the part to their local part database, or just insert the part for just that particular project for that instance. So very user friendly, very, very valuable tool.
It's funny you said that we're at 1.4 million.
Over 1.3.
Okay, over 1.3 and 400 companies, correct?
Yeah, right around.
This is how fast it's growing. Just 4 months ago, we were at a little over 1 million, and we had a little over 300 companies. In that span of time, which is about 4 months, we've already grown that much. That tells you how powerful this is to clients and how much they count on it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, no, that is so true. And it's a really tool for the manufacturers themselves to really add value to the products that they provide for their customers, right? So basically, there's a synergy between us and the manufacturers that we're bringing to our mutual customers together. Because let's say I'm an engineer, I'm creating my my designs, and I need to put in a circuit breaker. And if I'm brand agnostic, right, I'm going to go to the data portal, and I'm going to insert a part that I can find information for, because I might not have time to create that part myself. So instantly that part gets in, as soon as it's incorporated into the project, then it gets added to the bill of materials, that goes to the purchasing department, and the part gets purchased. So it's really to the manufacturer's advantage as well to have their parts included in the data portal. And that's the reason why every month we add new manufacturers, and the existing manufacturers, expand and update the data that they have. So this is really getting, especially with the the data standard that Thilo had alluded to earlier, especially with the introduction of that as well. And this is going to spread and expand and stay a very valuable tool for our customers.
Yeah, that's correct. The component manufacturers see the value. So, and as Ozlem mentioned, that the most data or the data that's been used in the schematic, over I think 85% or 80% is afterwards purchased. So they see this benefit, and I mean it's getting more and more important to have data in the schematic, because it makes it so much more valuable. You get so much more out of it. Everyone is talking about the digital twin, about predictive maintenance, and if you don't have a certain kind of quality in the data, then you won't get out these benefits afterwards in the value chain. So that's a huge steps. And Josh, you mentioned it. You see the increase of parts data and also of component manufacturer joining us and seeing this value.
By the way, if you have a question, you can raise your hand or you can leave your question in the chat. Let's talk about the advantages of eVIEW over PDF, Thilo.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think they have different purposes, so they are made for different things. I think eVIEW is made for engineering purposes. That's why EPLAN came up with it, and we don't call it PDF. But I see why this question is coming up. So I think that the root is, or the basis is, that we have or can enable that you have an access control. If you share a PDF, you don't know where it ends. If you send it via an email or you share it via Dropbox, everyone can have access to it and then share it via email. You don't have the control who has access is, and you maybe get 3 different versions back and you don't know, okay, which one is now the latest version. And that's kind of erased with eVIEW, and you have the possibility to better work with your engineering environment together. So you can start eVIEW right away from your P8 platform, from your desktop version. And the things that you have, yeah, as I mentioned, so the access control is something that there's something. Then the versioning, of course, that you have in eVIEW is something that's also a good benefit for the customers. And of course, you get also notifications if something is updated or something else. So you're always up to date what's happening with your project, with your data. And I think that's a really good benefit for the customers, that they see, okay, I can now work again with the project because I know that there's been updated something. Maybe someone has entered the redlining so that I have to change something, and I directly open it via the PA platform and can change it in my original project. So these are benefits that I don't see with a PDF file or with PDF at all.
Yeah, revision control is.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think revision control is underrated. I was going to say. Go ahead, Ozlem. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to kind of add to what Thilo was saying, and it's true. He's right. They do have, PDF and eVIEW have different purposes. I think one of the really the biggest advantages of the eVIEW is that it is a single source of truth, right? It's one file. Everybody is looking at it, and also you can control who is looking at it, right? And there is actually a lot more information that you can get in the eVIEW than you would with the PDF. And an example is direct access to the data portal, right? So if you click on a part on the eVIEW, you're going to get the information that came from the data portal, if that part came from the data portal. So PDF does have its use case. It's actually one of our customers, most favorite features, really. And it's great for submittals because we're not talking about just print a PDF. It's not a static file. It is an interactive file where all the cross references are kept intact. You can also do redlining with PDF as well. And also you can include device data information in your PDF. So it's great for submittals. Another use case is I've seen customers upload it onto their HMI, so it's a lot easier to navigate through the project, in a digital form, as opposed to hard copies and printouts of the project, kind of being tucked into the, pocket on the door, and might have footprints, coffee stains, missing pages, curled up corners, whatnot. So it's a lot easier to navigate the project because of that PDF being an interactive file, and if it's uploaded on the HMI. So they have different purposes, and I don't think PDF will go away. And but eVIEW is, again, in terms of looking at a single source of truth, getting some quick feedback from, we talked about collaboration in the beginning, right? So international partners, or we see customers, a lot of people are working from home these days, right? So again, to get their feedback, it's just so easier for them to just look at the picture, look at the project in the eVIEW and provide their comments. And then the author of the project can take a look at those comments and then, decide whether, how to handle it. And so again, single source of truth, I think is one of the greatest benefits, and also accessibility. It is accessible anywhere, anytime with internet connection. And the invitees do not have to have the actual EPLAN native software.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something that maybe not everybody realizes that hasn't been in EPLAN. If you're new to EPLAN and don't understand, is that whenever you have the capability of going back to that collaboration, what does that mean? That you have that collaboration where you have someone that's on one end of the spectrum all the way to the other end, and you're able to talk between yourself, and the guy on the end is saying, well, this is not going to work and this is why, and then it shoots it back over to where you have those comments in there or any changes that you might make. And that's such an important part of us being able to more clearly function in a work setting with a workflow that really, so just looking at my world, and this is how I equate it, is that whenever I have something that's in the marketing department, maybe it's a graphic that's being designed, and then we go back to our graphic designer, and then it has, well, this is revision 1 and this is revision 2. And it's such a tedious process sometimes because of the way that we aren't able to collaborate in the same way, where it's all email based. And it just whenever we don't have, and I know that Adobe is making some of the changes to that, but whenever we have to do it all in email, and that email, nobody likes to be on an email thread that's like 40 or 50 messages long. Isn't that the worst? Then you're looking at, okay, which one had the paper clip so I can look at that? And then you open it up. Nope, that's not the one. Okay, well then let me open. Nope, that's not the one. And it just takes so much time and effort that it's not helping you streamline the process. That's for sure. So this benefit that we have overall, Thilo, of the seamless integrated cloud workflow, let's kind of talk about that, because that's something that you're very integral to that part of the system.
Yeah, I think the seamless integrated workflows are combining the best of both worlds. So we have the on-premises world with our with the software that we have there with P8 and ProPanel and everything else, and you're using these benefits in combination with the cloud benefits that we add recently with eVIEW and eMANAGE free, and also with the eMANAGE versions. So by providing both worlds together and integrating them, you have no data breaks in this workflows anymore, because you are working in the same environment, and you can provide and share and interact with other people easily. And yeah, the main benefit is that you don't have to switch between solutions. So if you would work with a PDF instead of eVIEW, then you have to switch between the tabs to see, okay, which page was I, where is it going with the redlining and things like that. And having this integrated, seamless workflow, you can easily jump to a project, like Ozlem said, go into the project and jump to the part data in the EDP, for example, check if there's the latest version, download it, and yeah, you have a much more fluent and more efficient workflow, I would say, than having this switching applications, switching in different tabs and things like that. So it makes it a little bit more easier to get the efficient engineering done.
So the next question is, we know where we are now, but what are we working on? Can you give us some insight? Because look, 2023 is here now.
Yeah.
2024 is a little bit down the road, but we're thinking about what the next platform is going to be. We're happy with 2023. It's just been released, but we always want to know what's next.
Yeah, I don't know what's coming next in the platform version, but I can give you a little bit of a teaser of what we are working on with eMANAGE. So as explained, we are currently working on the sharing workflows. So which kind of data can you provide? We added that you can have this project-related documents like a Word or PDF document if you have some requirements there. You can share the data, the master data, for example, that you have the standardization, and of course the projects that we are talking about, the PA projects that you can share. And there are 2-3 things that we would like to improve a little bit more, that we can go on to the next topics. And because eMANAGE has such a main stage in providing data to other apps and other workflows, it is sometimes from the outside, it seems so simple, but behind the curtain, everything is going on and focusing on things, getting things done. And it's so much integration in our teams been done between the platform and the cloud teams. And so much things are going on. And as mentioned, we want to improve 2-3 things that will help our customer to share data and files more easily across their value chain. And in future, to give you the outlook, we want to focus more on how do the customers working on the project with several people at multiple locations. So Ozlem mentioned it, we are all working sometimes from home. We getting kind of used to it. So everyone is sitting at the different locations. So we need to share data. And this is something that we would like to support. Maybe that we can say, okay, I would like to work on the project. So I lock the file and can download it and work on it, and I upload it again, re-unlock the data so that everyone else can use it. I get a notification that a new version is available. So these are kind of things that we are improving in future, and I'm very curious what the next year will bring. So this year was also very exciting with the summer launch, where we bring some new features on the market. And of course, we will support more apps like, for example, ePocket in future, but also eStock. And there's a lot of things that we would like to do a little bit more faster, but it takes time. And we need also be a little bit more patient.
Are you thinking that we can be patient, or do we want him to really push through this?
Yeah, of course we can't have these products soon enough, but I think I have to compliment Thilo's group. Really, the products that they've been putting out, especially this cloud collaboration, cloud-based collaboration, is really, I think, it's just the next step in really efficiency in collaboration between groups, companies, and partners. Thilo, you just mentioned eStock. That's one of our newest additions to the cloud-based portfolio here, and I'm excited about it. And that's another collaboration tool where customers can now share their parts database through the eStock, among multiple locations. That was a pain for some customers, especially lower budget in the past, because they would run into latency issues, and or just they would have to replicate, parse database in, multiple locations, and then they would have to synchronize those, databases, and it was cumbersome. It required a lot of resources, in terms of time and hardware. So eStock is going to alleviate a lot of those problems. So I'm excited about it, and I think, Josh, you'll probably have in one of the upcoming sessions, we'll cover eStock a little bit more in greater length, right?
Absolutely. Yes, correct. Whenever you have a client that is giving feedback on these, how do you, and maybe this hasn't happened yet, but how do you communicate that back? Do you reach out to Thilo's team and say, hey, is this something that we can work on? Because I know that we constantly want to evolve, and when you have Thilo's team that really is on the cutting edge of what they know to work on, but maybe haven't thought from a client's perspective, and they need that input, you give that input over, don't you?
Absolutely. So there are several ways that we relay input from the customer base to the responsible parties throughout the organization. If it is especially a request that or question or maybe technical issue that came through the technical department, that gets elevated to the second level in corporate, and then depending on what the issue is, and that might get elevated to the quality control. If it is a wish, hey, I wish ePlan could do this, or is this going to be in some of the future versions? There might be a particular functionality or benefit that the customer might be looking for. So what we do is we relay those product managers. We have a product, each product or product line. And so we relay those, and then, they basically collect all feedback. And if there is a trend, for a particular need, then that usually gets written up for, one of the upcoming releases. So yes, that's the reason why we come out with a major update every year, and we incorporate, customer requests into our tools. And we make sure that our tools are also compatible with the latest technological advancements. And our respective product managers are the ones that, make sure that those happen.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. So I think from a business owner point of view, we cannot get in touch with so many customers because we don't have the time. We have 24 hours a day, but with more people, speak out to more customers and getting more feedback. And this will definitely help us to understand really the customer pains and bringing forward what's important for the customer to be efficient and compatible on the market that we have today. So it's a really huge challenge to balance. And everyone is saying, yeah, I have the most important topic. If we don't do it, then this or that will happen. And we have so many channels coming from sales, from consulting, from other managers and things like that. So it's really good that we channel and get this feedback from the market, from the customer, and it will help us all. So it's very good. I can only support what Ozlem said. So yeah, very good.
Thilo, I know that you love that whenever someone says, my client really, really would like this. And you're like, how are we going to do that?
Yeah, it's a kind of balancing everything. So we have an internal product strategy or ecosystem strategy that we want to follow up, but we are always keen and open to get the feedback from the customer, which is really important. And sometimes if you speak with a customer and say, okay, hey, we heard you, we are listening to you, we know what your pain is, but listen, if you do this and that, that's maybe a little bit of a workaround, but we will definitely come back later with a better solution, and we will find the solution for you no matter what it takes. But we are definitely finding anything that would help the customer at the end.
Yeah, we're definitely listening, and we always welcome all comments, all questions, all requests. And I'll give you one example that happened. And one of my customers using our smart wiring tool. And for those in the audience that does not know, who don't know, what smart wiring is. It's our step-by-step guide tool to guide the wire technicians assemble the panels, wire by wire. And it's a great tool for the panel shop. Anyway, so you know how they in smart wiring, it's a traffic light concept, right? If you land only one end of the wire, it's one color, both ends is one color. If a wire has changed, since it was first released, so you get this traffic light principle, so the status of each wire in your project, whether it's been landed or not. And so one of my customers had mentioned that, well, I wish there was a color code for the control personnel, right? So when they're checking the wires, testing the wires and the connections, they can just go in and go, tap, 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 and that would really help them. So I relayed that to the product management, and for years that particular feature had been implemented. And I don't know if my customer, I should take the credit for it. Maybe it also came from other customers too. But it makes sense, right? And it definitely has a use case, and it helps our customers to make sure that their panels are wired correctly. And so that got implemented. So that's at least one example that I can give to let everyone out there know that we are listening, and our product managers are working very, very hard to make sure that our tools are they're relative to what you're doing, and they offer value, and they help you become more efficient, save time and cost, and avoid errors.
So we can attribute that technology to you.
Yeah.
To my customer. Idea came from the customer, and we loved it. And when I went back and told them that, hey, this happened because of you. I didn't know that for a fact, but I'd like to say that it happened because of him. And he really got a kick out of it. He loved it. So we are definitely listening.
So it was a good collaboration at the end.
It was great. Yeah, we love it. We love getting feedback from our customers, and we always welcome it, and we need it. We need it, frankly.
I want to say thank you to both of you for being on today for Open Line Friday and taking the time out of your day. Great conversation. Some great points brought up. Learned about beer. I mean, I feel like we hit all the major talking points if we talked about beer as well. So sorry, Ozlem, next time we'll talk more about wine, if that's okay with you.
Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
So Thilo, thanks for extending your work on a Friday to going into the weekend, almost 8 o'clock your time. You can go and enjoy more of that beer. It's not the last beer you'll ever have.
No, I hope so.
The Executioner beer is not the last one that you'll ever have.
Yeah.
And Ozlem, thank you. We appreciate everybody for checking out Open Line Friday today. Have a great weekend.
Great conversation. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.